All right, welcome back to Reality with me, Dashia D. I have a special guest today by the name of Trey Dub. He's a graphic designer, he's a good vibes curator, and one of my best friends. And we're going to jump into Real Housewives of Atlanta episode 3. I don't know if
Mhm.
y'all watched it. Hopefully you did. If not, spoiler alert. I told you
Right.
before we started. In the first scene, we see Sheree have like a brunch and drink situation with Sonya and Marlo, and they're kind of recapping the BravoCon. BravoCon was in New York.
Yeah, like around like October-ish.
Yeah,
That
and I
time.
think that was their first time, right?
Mm,
I feel like
At
no.
least in a long time, because I know they had stopped it for a while because of COVID. So I don't know if they like some of them
Oh
been on there like before, and stuff. I know for like maybe Sonya, definitely. But I
well,
wasn't sure.
yeah. It's the
But
first
probably
time
the
I've
first
seen
one in a long
clips
time.
of it, I guess. But
Yeah.
they were basically just going over like the little drama that was taking place. And so one of the things that was brought up, Sonya was like, I'm so confused about my relationship with Drew. Like 1 minute I think we're cool, the next minute she flipping her wig into my face. Like I
I
don't
think we all
I don't
confused.
understand what's going on. Why don't they like each other? That's what I'm confused by.
I am still very confused. Like, I just think it's like just pettiness that kind of carried on from last season. Like, I feel like personally, Sonya has a very hard time like explaining herself. So it's like it's so complicated to listen to her talk sometimes. And I'm honestly, I'm still very confused of why they're beefing or why they was, I guess.
I don't know either. They seem like frenemies.
Right,
Like
right.
those type of friends who can never just stay afloat. Like it's always something that's going to happen. And I think with Sonya, she sometimes comes off as a fence straddler, which I said in like the first episode. Like 1 minute she can understand this person and she's I don't want to say on this person's side, but that's what it's giving. I'm on this
Mhm.
person's side. I'm on Sheree and Marlo's side. And then she's like, no, but I love Candy too. We went to Disney World together. So now I'm over here. It just is too much back
Mhm.
and forth. So I
Yeah.
think that's why they struggle with that. Marlo brought up the fact that Mama Joyce is still hating on Todd.
Up, lady. Like, how long they been married now? Like,
Like 9 years.
yeah, like I'm about to say, I'm sure it's close to 10 years at this point. I'm like,
Yeah.
what bad do you have to say about this man at this point 9 years later? So
I I know that that's her mom, and she wants to make sure that she is respecting her mom, and she
hmm
wants to make sure she's respecting her husband. But I'm sure that has to be tough
I
because
feel
she's
like
close to her family.
yeah, yeah, and I mean definitely can tell. I feel like she doesn't do enough to check her. Cause like I feel like she wastes no time telling these girls when they say something about her husband. She wastes no time, being activated as what they call it. But when her mama says something, she be like, "Man, girl, yeah, whatever. You
Yeah.
just hee hee." I'm like, I mean, I don't know. I love Candy personally, but she doesn't do enough to defend her husband on camera in front of her
But
mother.
isn't that most of us though? Like I feel like most of us, especially us,
Mm.
are intimidated by our mamas and our daddies. And sometimes we push off having those hard conversations
Yeah.
because we don't want to come off as being disrespectful. But it takes a while before we learn that setting boundaries is not disrespectful, even if you have to set that boundary with your mama.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think with Mama Joyce, she loves Candy, obviously, and she wants what's best for her. I just don't quite understand why. It sucks because I feel like Todd is going to always feel like he's not doing enough to prove that he's good enough for Candy when since they've been together,
Mm.
she was already a star, but it's risen. I mean, she's on the path to becoming an EGOT,
Yeah. Yeah. That's a
and that's
big
with the
deal.
help of him.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah, and that's my point. Like, I at this point, 9 years later, what can you say about him? It's not like he's been taking from her in any way. It's
Mm-mm.
always been he's adding on to her. I mean, clearly now, I mean, look where she's at now. So it's just like, come on now, let's get over it.
Right.
Please, at your old big age, lady.
She's a Scorpio, isn't she? Drew and Ralph. Later on in the episode, we see that they host this cousin gathering with Courtney. I don't like her, and I want her to not come back next season. But anyway, they host this cousin gathering, and while they're doing this, she gets a call from Candace from Real Housewives of Potomac. I don't watch, but she's on Real Housewives of Potomac, and Candace invites her to come to her performance. I don't know
Her
if she was
concert. She was on
oh,
tour.
okay, so she came to one of her tour dates to sing with her. You were there in person. How was that experience?
Y'all, my piece of face, piece of eye, piece of forehead was in that episode. But yeah, it was a good time though. Personally, I like Candace not only as a housewife but also as a singer. I think she really can sing. Even when I went live at the concert, she definitely, you could tell that she definitely was singing for real, and actually was giving more performance. Still consider herself very like new in the game, but just like seeing her perform, and I've listened to her albums before, it definitely was a good experience. Being there, and it's funny because I had no idea that they were actually filming like at that moment.
Mm-hmm.
And so, of course, like, when you go into places like that, they had us sign, the releases and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But even then, it didn't dawn on me. I just assumed that it was like some type of, they were doing it for like Candace's not live, but tour itself.
Mm-hmm.
And then as time goes by, I saw Marlo walk in, and then she's walking to the group. And I'm like, I want one of my other best friends. And we were like, oh, they filming.
Did
So
they
put the
see
dawn on me.
how did they interact with each other, like in public?
So where I was positioned at, like there was a whole line of extra people in front of me, so I couldn't really like hear them. The only person I really could have seen in that direction was Sonia, and then to the right of her was like Kenya, Candy, and Manietta.
Mm-hmm.
And so I really couldn't like hear anything or whatever. It was like when Marlo first walked in, of course, you hear her deep ass voice. So like I said, I couldn't really hear much. The husbands were like 2 steps behind me, so I heard them talking, laughing and shooting, shooting shit and stuff like that. So that was cool. But as far as like from what I saw from afar, it looked like everyone got along well. But you see in the episode that they barely gave Marlo the time of day when she walked in.
Yeah, and I was gonna add, Drew sounded great, I thought. And I thought it was a good baby step towards her starting to perform her own songs. But speaking of Marlo likes to say that Drew is acting, Kenya is acting. But that whole scene backstage where they're trying to check on Candy because of the shooting incident that happened at the restaurant, and Marlo's bringing up her nephew who passed away, I think she said 2 years ago, who used to work for a different restaurant.
Yeah.
And was shot by his roommate when he was no longer even working at the old lady gang. Yeah. And I'm trying to understand how the two correlate. Like, what about that? Why did she bring that up? Why was she screaming at Drew? And then why would she even say, well, Candy Burris gets to talk about what she want to talk about, and everybody else got to talk about what's happening in their lives? I didn't understand that. She grinds my gears. She irritates me.
No, same for me too. I'm confused as to like her, like essentially what is the reservations that she has against Candy? Like, because like you said, like there was no connection between the two. Like even when she explains it, she just kept on saying, I'm triggered because my nephew was shot. Not even at Candy's restaurant, but only because that he used to work for her. So I was just like, okay, but what does that have to do with Candy, essentially? And I guess she just wanted the sympathy, being that the nephew did used to work for Candy. I guess she wanted more sympathy as a friend. But even then, like, why you couldn't bring that up 2 years ago?
Like, she said that she texted Candy. They showed the screenshots. Yeah. She texted Candy, said, hey, do you know, I think his name was Quentin. And she said, yes, but he no longer works for us. And she was like, well, he just got killed. And she was like, oh man, I'm sorry to hear that. And then she brought it up to Candy again in person, and Candy had forgotten that she told her that. And so because of that, she was like, she doesn't care. But I feel like she was, I hate to say this, but I feel like she was leveraging her nephew's death and Candy's reaction to it
Mhm.
as a way to dig at Candy's lack of caring or empathy, and then also her not sharing her life or what she wants to talk about, which I don't understand because we've seen Candy go through family issues, fertility issues. We've
Mhm.
seen her career go up and down on this show. We've
Mhm.
seen her go through her in the earlier season, she had a fiance who was gunned down.
Yeah,
We've seen
yeah.
her deal with her baby daddy block and him not wanting to pay child support. Like, we've seen a lot of aspects of her life. What
Mhm.
more should she be sharing? Because I
Exactly.
see a lot of people say that on Twitter too, like Candy's boring and Candy's this and that. I'm biased because I really like Candy, but I feel
Mhm.
like she brings a lot more to the show than some of y'all favorites, i.e. Sheree. No shade.
Listen.
Sheree,
She really doesn't bring shit. That's why she kept
listen,
getting fired.
listen, I feel like her chapter is closed on the show.
Yeah.
We've seen the chateau, right? Is beautiful. That's built. That's done. That's checked off.
Yeah.
She by Sheree or She by Shein has finally launched. That's
She
finally
broke the
launched.
internet.
She is officially done with her ex-husband. Their kids
Yeah.
are grown. Like, I don't see what she's adding to the show other than problematic people like
Mhm.
Courtney and that chick that came on last season and a previous season before that. She brought Marlo on to the camping trip. Like, I don't see what
Mhm.
she brings to the show. And now her storyline is I'm dating Martell Holt.
What do you think about that relationship? Do you think it's
I think it's
publicity
fake.
stunt?
No,
Okay.
I think it's fake, and I feel like if it's real, she's not serious about her love life. There's no way.
She
I mean,
can't be, you know. It just
Melody just went live about it.
oh, really?
Yeah,
I missed that.
Melody just went live a few days ago because he's trying to blackmail her in a sense. I'm gonna say
Mhm.
allegedly trying to blackmail her by releasing a sex tape between the two of them.
What?
Yeah. If y'all have not seen
I'm
Melody
behind on
Holt
that.
live, please go to YouTube and type in Melody Holt. And she was like, I'm addressing everything. But apparently he told somebody to set up a fake social media page
Mhm.
to reach out to Mel and be like, hey, if you don't do this, I'm gonna release this. When in reality, it's him behind it because he's the only one that had access to the tape.
He like drama, man. Like he lives for just drama. Melody said it herself on their show, and he just like loves being in the spotlight. Because I mean, I guess I don't know like how long his running is going to be on Love and Marriage, being that they're divorced. So I don't know. Maybe he looking at this as a backup plan. Like make a statement on Real Housewives long enough to stay, or hell, jump
Man,
through the crease.
listen, I don't want to see Martell and Sheree twice a week. I don't.
I'm good. I'm
Go ahead
done.
and drop them from Real Housewives. Go ahead and bring back Eva, or
Please.
Shamari,
Yeah.
Portia, any of them,
Mhm.
honestly, and I'll be satisfied. Take out Courtney. Stop bringing these friends to the show that never.
Random. It be so random.
Like, I don't care that she's cousins with Ralph. Ralph ain't even about to be on Real Housewives next season. So why would I care? I just, well, okay. So who? And I'm in it with this. Who would be
Mhm.
your dream cast? But you can only have 6 people. Dream cast from Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Okay, just Atlanta. Okay, gotcha.
Yes.
So Kenya definitely, because y'all know, well, you know that's my girl. So definitely Kenya, Eva, Candy. You know what? I'm not a big fan of Nene, but she's very entertaining. So
It's
I
good
would throw
TV.
that in there. Yeah. So that's what, 4. So okay,
Yeah.
so 2 more. You want 6?
Yeah.
So 2 more. Let me think. So other two. Let's do Portia. She's entertaining as well, even though I'm not a
Okay.
huge fan of hers. As well. But you know what, Disha? The whole season 12 cast. So it's basically everyone I just mentioned and Cynthia.
Okay.
Yeah, because that
I
that
thought
was
we
a
were going
good.
to see Cynthia. But
Huh?
maybe she. I said I thought we were going to see Cynthia, but maybe she's going to come on later. I don't know.
I think later on too, because I think from the trailer that I saw, she popped up in on Kenya's Alabama trip or something like that, which we
Oh,
might
okay.
see it this upcoming thing, or however long they do the Alabama trip. So I think she pops up at some point then too.
So my dream cast would be the cast of season. I think it was season 10. So that
Okay.
was Shamari, Portia,
Mhm.
Candy, Eva, Nene, Cynthia. But then
Mhm.
I would probably I honestly want to throw either Shamari or Drew in there. Because I feel like Shamari and Drew actually have real things going on in their lives.
Yeah.
It's not just fashion. It's not just like I feel like they have real family things happening. But I
Mhm.
guess Shamari and her husband are on the couples retreat show, so I would keep Drew and Ralph, and let's see the whole divorce proceedings and what's going on with that with custody. Let's see it all, whatever they're going
Yeah.
to here.
I think Shamar didn't get a fair shot. She should come back like for another
She
season.
really should, and I
Yeah.
really wish Eva would come back.
Bruh, for real. Like considering she has so much going on now that we
Listen,
definitely are interested in seeing,
yeah,
you know? Because like definitely I want to see the dynamic of what's going on in that divorce now. Like
I know.
you gonna give that boy I mean you gonna give the oldest daughter her name back? Like what's that? What's
Oh,
going on
I
with
doubt
that?
it. I doubt it.
I doubt it too. But like it's just like how does that transition look for basically her
Yeah.
giving her past and who her, real father is and
I
stuff.
think she's requesting child support. I believe so, and spousal
Yeah, I
support.
read that too.
I don't
So
know.
I mean
Best of
she
luck to you,
yeah,
Eva,
yeah.
in
She hitting
my
the acting world again. So I
yeah,
mean she's definitely one of my favorite. I would love to see her come back.
she's funny to me. And she's
Yeah.
a Scorpio. See?
I know, right? That's the one
I
I'll claim that one.
wow. So this has been Reality with Dashia D and Trey Dub. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. See y'all next